come in with a certain kind of heredity, like past lives feeding into our current life, a certain sort of family lineage, and that helps create a body that we have, the physical body. I feel like we're shaped for something, we're built for something, that our bodies and our personalities are filters of the soul force. And that there's something that we are good at doing, like that and then that's the thing that we love also. It's the thing that fascinates us. And I think as the transformation occurs, you get to do the thing you love the most. And that is your destiny. It's the soul coming through without any distortion. Easy, fun, joyful, and you make money. Right? If you need to make money, you know. So I think it's kind of the soul expressing itself without restriction. What do you think?
When I hear destiny, my mind goes to the Sanskrit term dharma. So a good way of explaining dharma is it's the dharma of fire to burn. It's the dharma of water to be wet. Right? It's the dharma of earth to be solid. And so there is in the Sanskrit teachings Jaiva Dharma, like your soul has a dharma, an eternal way of being in the body of the God self that is like a position of activity and contribution and gifting. And so, you know, oftentimes in the ancient world it's been described as the supreme being is very much like our physical self, where you have brain cells, you have eye cells, you have liver cells, you have heart cells. And if you were to look at the soul, the individual living entity, as one of the cells in the body of God, that you have this dharma, this way of being that gives you ultimate joy when you can contribute to the collective self in the way that lights you up because it's your most intrinsic nature. It's just who you are, and you get to shine that unhindered. And then everybody loves you for it. And they give you what you need because you're giving them what they need.
Yeah. Sounds like life purpose.
Yeah.
Also. Or
I think it's different than, like, people talk about having a mission now, and I think that's kind of willpower based, or it has a little ego vibe to it or something, like it's almost too intentional or something. I feel like just let that idea go and just do what comes, you know, and there's nothing special about what your big life purpose is or anything, you know, that you just get here to have fun, basically, self-entertainment, you know? And through that, you contribute and you're of service.
I'm pretty entertained right now.
Right, we're not sacrificing ourselves at all, right?
Just hanging out with family.
who does it? My body's just flowing out there. You know? It's good. So, anyway, you write about home frequency, and you know, how can you help us to tune into that a little, fine tune that, you know, home frequency?
Home frequency, yeah. If you realize that really everything is vibrating now and we're aware of energy, it's part of the acceleration, that you realize that everything vibrates at different levels. But we have a potential for, like, looking outside of ourselves and having resonance with other people, and then we can frequency match with other people. And we have a personal vibration that is variable like that. We can change our vibe, and we can go up and down and in and out and contract and expand. And that's so fluctuating that it's not very stable and it can confuse us. But the home frequency is like your innate core essential vibration, that it doesn't ever change. You know, it's the light in a baby's eyes. It's just there. Your original tone, whatever, and you don't have to try to do it. You relax and it's there. And it's when you're in that state, that, and I call it your preferred state sometimes, you know, it's like the way you like to feel. When you're in it, it's just magical again. And you like it, and then people like you. And part of it is identifying what it feels like, or to remember that feeling state, so that you don't get too identified with suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so important to recognize what's authentic and inauthentic in yourself. It's really the step onto the path of your transformation is to cultivate this discriminating intelligence that feels into thoughts, feels into emotions, senses the frequency or resonance of the thought, feeling, emotion, relationship, environment, etc. Because that's when you'll know if it's beneficial or not beneficial, whether it's going to contribute to your evolution and unfoldment and it's healthy, or it's going to actually be a detriment. And so to really cultivate this discriminating, discerning intelligence so that you know sort of the alignment or attunement with your most authentic self. Because it's always there, like Penny so nicely said, but sometimes we don't have this discriminating capacity, and it reminds me of that point in the movie Pinocchio. So Pinocchio is trying to be a real boy, made out of wood, and Jiminy Cricket is the gift that's given to Pinocchio by the star goddess to follow him and give him the guidance so that he makes his way into authenticity. And the first day out in the world, he meets Honest John. And Honest John sells Pinocchio this line of, "You can be an actor, my son. You have what it takes. The world's going to love you." And so this narcissism and this non-discriminant, greed-driven, glamorized idea of self leads Pinocchio away. Well, finally, through much struggle and harm to Jiminy's body, he finds Pinocchio at this pub. And Pinocchio's sitting there, and Jiminy's like raging at him, like, "Why didn't you listen? You know, this is not the way for you. You're causing yourself so much pain. It's time to get back on track." "You're right, Jiminy. Let's go home." So Jiminy's like, "Thank God." So he gets on Pinocchio's shoulder, and they're walking out of the pub, and there's Honest John. "Well, look who it is. I have an opportunity for you, Pinocchio." And then you're waiting for Pinocchio to stand up for himself and give his true, authentic answer. And then he says, "Oh, that sounds wonderful. Bye, Jiminy." And off he goes, back into the sewage, right? And so we are these authentic, brilliant, multidimensional, divine beings. But if your mind apparatus is not developing the sensitivity, the awareness, the discrimination to attune to your soul vibration, you can continue to just wander away and not really pick up the alignment to your highest nature.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the old way of perceiving makes it seem like I need validation from the outside world. I need love from the outside world. Then I'll be good. That nobody can give you your home frequency. Nobody can make you feel it, or nobody can make you feel bad if you don't want to feel bad either. So we're getting into a place now of sort of responsibility, but not in that negative sense. You know, not a sacrificial responsibility, but a sense of, hey, wait a minute, I can create my reality any way. I can be fine with anything that happens. You know, it looks awful, but it's really interesting. You know, I could learn something from this.
Yeah. One last point to that. I love the line in A Course in Miracles where he says, the secret to salvation, right? The secret to really awakening is to get one simple lesson. You're doing all of this to yourself. There's nobody out there doing it to you.
To me.
Yes, to me, yes. Thank you.